Hi friends, in the last session we have seen up to quantization of charge in electrostatics. Now in this session these are the two basic objectives we are trying to understand. One is understanding the property called additivity of a charge and also understanding what is meant by conservation of charge. We will try to address these two objectives today. The first objective is understanding the additive or additivity or additive property of charge. What exactly it does mean? Additivity of a charge, definition says the total charge of a system is equal to algebraic sum of all charges. What is basically total charge of a system? For example, you take a body. This is a system. There are a number of charges here. Say Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, etc. Now we have to find sigma Q, sum of all the charges. Some may be positive, some may be negative. Whatever it may be, the total charge must be scalar sum, like algebraic sum. You have to add all the charges. Now what is the basic idea for this is, it is just like adding real mass. Real numbers. Just like adding real numbers. How we add real numbers? In that method only we will add charges also. Plus please do remember, so like mass of an object, charge is also a scalar. It doesn't talk about direction. So it possesses magnitude. So like mass. So charge is also like a scalar. So for instance, take a system, any body. Take a system means any body. Assume that let there be n number of charges in it, like Q1, Q2, Q3, etc., Qn. There will be n number of charges. What we have to understand is, these charges, charge has magnitude. No direction. That's why I said charge is a scalar, like mass. So no direction, like mass. This example we can quote. But one important thing we have to remember here is, mass of a body is always positive. There will be no negative mass. Here charge can be plus or minus. It can be either positive or negative. So therefore, what is the condition we have to remember? Sign convention with respect to charge is to be followed. That means if it is positive, it should be added. If it is negative, it should be subtracted. For example, I am just taking one example. There are charges. You take a system. In this system, let us say, there is one positive charge, there is one negative charge, there is another positive charge, there is another positive charge, like that. plus q minus 2q plus 3q plus q. So when I am trying to find sigma q, which is nothing but q, so what should I do? Q plus 3q minus 2q plus 5q. Just like normal real numbers, how they will be added, like that. So this is 4q minus 2q plus 5q. 2q plus 5q. So therefore, net charge q is plus 5q. Understood? Sorry, plus 7q. 5 plus 2, 7q. So this is what is meant by additivity of a charge. That means charge should be added just like real numbers. The only thing to be remembered is the proper sign should be remembered. If it is a minus charge, it is to be subtracted. If it is a positive charge, it is to be added. So though it is a scalar, the addition is just like a normal real number, how we add real numbers, that is how we add here. That's why in the beginning of the statement, if you see, total charge of a system is equal to algebraic sum of all the charges. This is what is known as additivity of a charge or additive property of a charge. Now we shall see the other concept called what is meant by conservation of charge. To understand this conservation of charge, first thing we have to remember is, whenever you get a word called conservation, basically it means there is no gain, there is no loss. Total always remains constant. You might have studied conservation of mass, conservation of energy, these things. Conserve means no loss, no gain. So the system, for example, I am taking a system. System is nothing but any body. There are a number of charges, let us say, inside. It is not connected to any other thing as surroundings. Therefore, I call it as an isolated system. That means no additional thing is getting in, nor anything is coming out of this. So such a system is called an isolated system. In this isolated system, let us say there are number of charges. Let us say q1, q2, etc. qn charges are there. Now if I apply additive property for this, I will say q1 plus q2 plus etc. plus qn. So I can say mathematically sigma q, qi, I equal to 1 to n. So this, for this isolated system, the sigma qi, which is called total charge, it is always constant. Total charge of an isolated system always remains constant. This is the basic statement of conservation of charge. The total charge of an isolated system remains constant. Right? So total charge of an isolated system remains to be constant. For this, we will take certain examples to explain. Suppose rub two bodies against each other. Just you are rubbing two bodies. What happens is, naturally one body gains and naturally other body loses. This is with respect to charge. So when you rub two bodies, one body naturally gains charge. From where this charge will come? It has to come from the other body only, na? So therefore the other body loses the same amount of charge. That means you have not created charge extra, nor you have destroyed charge. Charge is always remaining. Originally it is available in one body. Because of rubbing, it lost that, and the other body which got rubbed with it gained that extra charge. So charge is neither created nor destroyed. So therefore we can say it is not possible to create or destroy net charge carried by any isolated system. Have you understood this? It is not possible to create or destroy net charge carried by any isolated system. That means you can't make it zero. So system always remains, total charge in a system always remains constant. In the isolated system, if one loses, the other gains. Somebody's loss is somebody else's profit, like that. So therefore, any isolated system. But interesting phenomena will happen. Though it is not possible to create or destroy net charge carried by any isolated system, something else is to be remembered here parallelly. You cannot create charge, nor you can destroy charge. But that is what it means. But charge carrying particles may be created or may be destroyed during the process. This is what is to be understood. You cannot create nor you can destroy. Only thing is you can increase or decrease. That means particles can be created which can carry charge, particles can be destroyed which possess charge. This is what does it mean? It is Einstein's law of conservation. Neither created nor destroyed. You already studied in energy. Mass can be created, mass can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Similarly, charge can neither be created nor destroyed. This neither nor concept related principle is what is known as conservation. No loss, no gain. Okay, have you understood this? So the first part you might have understood. Rubbing two bodies against each other such that one body is gaining charge, the similar charge is being lost by the other body. That means one body is losing, the other body is gaining. So from this we concluded that it is not possible to create or destroy net charge carried by any isolated system. Fine, to the extent. The crucial thing is the second part. Here one more thing I added, but charge carrying particles may be created or destroyed during the process. Let me explain this particular point segment with yet another example. For example, you take neutrons. You all know that neutron can be turned into a proton and an electron. In a nuclear reaction, a neutron can be turned into a proton and electron. This is not what normally happens. You might have heard about in radioactivity. So neutron can produce a proton and an electron. Now see, the proton and electron you have created, they both will have equal and opposite. Neutron may not have charge. Why? Because when a neutron is turned into a proton with a positive charge, an equal amount of electron is also created with a negative charge. That means the magnitude of charge is same, but the sign of charge is opposite. So this is plus 1.603 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. This is minus 1.603 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So the net charge is always neutralized. So therefore that's why the neutron is able to produce these equal and opposite charges. From this you can conclude, that means by making a neutron turning into a proton and an electron with the equal magnitude of charge and opposite sign, you can say the proton and electron thus created have equal and opposite charges. Understood or not? When they have